Hello, everyone. Good to see you here. Hey, Bill, how's it going?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm good. So, Bill and I have been chatting about homeowners associations because, love them or hate them, they are a big part of Arizona's properties, and a lot of our communities have them here. I happen to actually be on my HOA board because, for me, I'm the type of person where I thought some things could beneficial, like change for the good, and so I wanted to help be a part of that. Now, I know HOAs, they're not always the best. They get a bad rap. Bill, do you live in an HOA?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the majority of us do. So, Bill, I kind of wanted to share like the not pros and cons, but just the pluses and minuses. I'm not like, say
Good.
like just
Well,
some ups and downs.
honestly, a lot of people outside of Arizona don't really deal with HOAs as much as we do. I would say honestly, 95% of
Wow.
the properties have HOAs. I mean, I know that seems like a high number and it might be a little high. I'm sure if I Google it, it'd be lower. But like, it just seems like 95% of my contracts that I receive have an HOA involved, whether it's a condo, a house, a townhouse. The ones that
Yeah.
don't usually are the county islands, right?
Right.
That we have, or more the outlying areas, in the White Mountains and stuff like that. But even my place up in the White Mountains has that very small HOA, like 100 a year,
Yeah, and
right?
HOAs can mean like there's some HOAs that are very involved and have more, and
Yes.
there's some that are more about just keeping a property in a good condition or taking care of common spaces potentially. So
Well, and
HOA,
that's what the cost difference is, right? So like if you
yeah,
have a neighborhood that has a pool, that has a park, that has a pickleball court, that has a volleyball court, those costs are free. So
right.
they're gonna have a cost associated to your HOA. But I see HOAs as kind of like a double edged sword. That okay, yes, you have this, you are being watched, I guess you would say, and kept in check. But at least you don't have Uncle Bob's truck broken down on their front lawn across the street, right? So it kind of keeps the right aesthetic look in the neighborhood. Because I
Yeah.
had a good friend of mine that randomly in the neighborhood in Chandler, wasn't County Island, but just randomly didn't have any HOAs. And we go there, and you literally had one house that looked like a forest of weeds. I mean, we're talking 4 feet high, corn stalk kind of weeds. And then the next house across the street from him had 3 or 4 vehicles on the front lawn.
Yep.
So, it's just like, where
Yeah,
do you find
and
that?
that's true. And I know there are city ordinances. Some people are going to say, well, you can call your city. Well, absolutely, you can absolutely call your city if you have a non-HOA. But there are also things that the city doesn't enforce, like an HOA would, right? And the truth of the matter is, properties within an HOA do have a 4 to 6% higher value than properties around it that don't. I think a lot of that has to do with the uniformity of some of the properties, just looking in good condition, making sure that people are, taking care of their properties, but also the amenities that they add. There's usually common space, playground, like you said, some have pools, some have, there's some like Seville well, I guess that's more of a social membership. I was going to say they have like a water slide and everything, right? Like that's more
They're going to
country
pay
club
additional
style.
for that, the party
Yeah.
membership.
Um, that's true. But like some have golf courses that are part of the HOA, some golf courses aren't, but some maybe. So depending on what that looks like, if gated HOAs are way more expensive than a non-gated HOA community HOA, right? Those gates are pricey. And it also depends on how many homes are in your HOA. Who's running
Yes.
it? Mountain Park Ranch has about like it's like members running HOAs and you have other communities. So for me, and especially the reason I got on the HOA is if you want, I know people are always like, oh, these, nasty grams or these mean letters about this, that, or the other thing. If you have people who are power hungry on your HOA, make sure you get out and vote for your HOA members. Show up to your board meetings. You know,
Hmm.
the members are going to listen. The board is going to listen. If you get a group like we had here in our neighborhood, we had a group of us who really wanted to make an impact and change up some things that were currently going on the HOA. So we got involved. And you know what the great part was? It got us together as a community. So that was kind of cool.
Yep. No, community events and
Yeah.
coming out, right? Because a lot of people in Arizona, they kind of pull in their garage,
Yep.
close the garage
Exactly.
behind them, right?
Yeah.
And
Well, we have Bunko on Wednesday and every once a month now. It's fun.
I mean,
Now,
like I said, HOAs, people don't like it because they feel like they're being watched.
mm,
It's their property. But I think overall, for the most part. But you're correct. If the wrong people get on the board, sometimes you can have power struggles. But you know what? I always say people that are complaining about a power struggle happening, every year there's a vote. Put your name in the hat, right?
Exactly.
If and they tried to drag me on the HOA board this last year, and I was like, I've got too many boards. I'm gonna take I'm gonna take a little break from this. They even created a little AI generated resume about my hugs. So
Yes. That's all right. But I do have a question for you, because
yeah.
sometimes what I find when I'm shopping for clients, especially in the condos, HOAs
Mhm.
vary significantly. Now, some will include all your utilities, or maybe some like, water, sewer, trash. They may include power sometimes. They all include like exterior maintenance and all these things. So you have gate, like there's some variety of things that go into an HOA. But I think where some people get kind of stuck, and I understand this, I wish there was a better way to do it, but there isn't. As a lender, you have to qualify them for the HOA payment, even though it includes all their utilities, which they no longer have to pay on this side. So they technically have more, but you can't really take that into consideration.
Unfortunately not. Like we are just told what we see. Honest, yes, we do see the CCNRs, but what we see is the bill that comes, right? And if we're given monthly HOA of $300, $400, even though it might include your trash or your utilities, we're still using that $400 to qualify. Whereas if you have an HOA that says at a condo, maybe it's $150, but it doesn't include your utilities. I'm not taking the HOA plus your utilities to qualify. I'm just taking the HOA. So really it just comes down to the bill that we get when we request that with the HOA company. Right. So you're on the contract to request a plethora of things. We want to make sure that you're properly covered, because the other thing with HOAs, they cover usually walls out, right? Whereas then your insurance is hazardous cheaper, which is nice for you because you're just walled in. So we have to verify the cover.
So it's sort of it's probably a little bit of a wash where you're paying less in insurance, but you may be a little
your HOA might exactly. I mean, you might have, I don't know, insurance companies would be insurance agents would be kicking my butt right now. Like, Dan, quote anything, but let's just say it's like $60 a month for hazard insurance for a condo, but then your HOA is $200, right? So you kind of, whereas a house might be more like 140 or 130 or something like that per month, right?
Right. Exactly.
But we have to verify that all. We have to make sure that you're properly covered, right? I mean, God forbid something were to happen, we want you to be able to build back your phone. And so HOAs and condos are great. Lately, we've had some challenges with those. Proper coverage, because once again, insurance is going up. So they're trying to keep the monthly HOA cost in check to the best of their ability. And unfortunately, we had one that went a little sideways. They had lapsed their coverage. They forgot to pay for 2 months apparently. And then when the insurance company came back, like, oh, well, here's your new coverage. It wasn't enough coverage to cover it. So you kind of run into those with condos sometimes, but then the HOA came together. They made the couple repairs needed to have happened, and then they got the proper coverage and we were good. And so it's just, but condos are great in the fact that you have that low maintenance. You don't have to worry about outside stuff, right?
Yeah. So it's worth that HOA. So you gotta look at all the bills you have to pay. So when you're looking at it, does the HOA price make sense? Are you buying a house? Are you buying a condo? What are you paying for? And like everything else, we always talk about the whole picture, right? We're not talking about, so we can get together, with our buyers and go over things. And I understand people like, especially if you have RVs or big toys and you like having property, that may not be the place for you. You don't want to fight them all the time, right? Like, so sometimes it's just a matter of, okay, what really should I do? And I get in some locations, it's really hard to find a place that won't have an HOA. Just because a lot of the communities are newer and almost every one of them is built with an HOA since I can't remember how long, but it's been a long time.
I feel like a lot of new ones have the big RV garages too.
Yes, exactly. They are trying to accommodate, right? So
yeah, they're trying to make it up for it, make it look nicer with the RV in the garage.
RV garages, that's true. So I don't think Bill and I are promoting HOA or non-HOA. We just want to share with you exactly what the options are, and that don't go too far one way or the other to find your dream house. We may be able to make it work within that thing. So always know you can reach out to either one of us. We're super happy to help. Of course, I will drop our information in the comment section. And coming up the last Monday in October, we have some really great friends of ours, Jerica and Jason Pound from Oklahoma, who are going to come share all the cool things about Oklahoma. You're going to love these two. They're absolutely super fun, amazing people, and I'm excited to have them on with us. So, Bill, thank you once again for being here every week, and you have a great rest of your week.
You too.
Thanks.